In today's world, almost every part of our lives is being digitized, and much of it ends up in the cloud. Photos from family events, private messages, emails, shopping histories, location data, even our browsing habits. All of this is stored on servers owned by cloud companies. Over time, these platforms are creating what can be called a digital copy of each individual, a comprehensive, ever-growing map of behavior, preferences, and routines. This digital copy is not just a simple collection of files. Advanced algorithms analyze it to detect patterns: when you wake up, what you eat, how you communicate, and even the types of emotions you express online. The more data these companies gather, the more accurate and detailed this digital replica becomes. What's even more striking is that this process happens largely without explicit consent or clear understanding from the users. We upload content, agree to terms of service we barely read, and assume our personal life remains private, while in reality, every interaction is being logged, categorized, and stored. The implications are immense. Your digital copy can influence what you see on social media, which ads appear, even which products or services are recommended to you. It becomes a predictive model of you, capable of anticipating choices before you consciously make them. Over time, these digital copies can affect not just convenience or personalization, but your autonomy, nudging decisions subtly, shaping behavior, and creating a world where your life is mirrored and monetized. The first step in understanding the upload society is recognizing that your digital self exists, constantly evolving, in servers you do not control. It's no longer just about convenience or connectivity. It's about the creation of a digital entity that represents you in ways that could have profound consequences for privacy, autonomy, and identity. As our lives increasingly move online, a critical question arises: who actually owns your digital existence? Every photo you upload, every message you send, every post you like contributes to a vast digital footprint. But the reality is that ownership often lies not with you, but with the companies that host and control this data. Cloud platforms, social networks, and tech giants maintain the servers where your information lives, and their terms of service often grant them extensive rights over your content. In effect, while you may think you're sharing data, you are often relinquishing control over it. This lack of ownership has far-reaching consequences. Unlike physical property, digital assets are intangible, easily duplicated, and susceptible to being manipulated, sold, or analyzed without your knowledge. Companies can use your data to train artificial intelligence, create predictive models, or monetize it through targeted advertising. Your personal information becomes a commodity, a currency in the digital economy that generates profits. Yet the person it represents rarely sees any of the financial benefit. Moreover, ownership extends beyond mere access. In many cases, the cloud companies can decide how, when, and even if your data is shared, modified, or deleted. Governments, corporations, or hackers may access it through legal or illegal channels. As your digital life becomes more detailed and complete, it forms a version of you that exists independently of your consent. Understanding this ownership dynamic is crucial. The upload society is not simply about storing information online. It is about creating entities that mirror and replicate human lives, while the rights to these entities are increasingly controlled by others. Recognizing that your digital life is not fully yours is the first step in reclaiming autonomy in an era where cloud companies are the new gatekeepers of personal existence. In the upload society, it isn't just your data that is at stake. Your very consciousness is becoming a commodity. As technologies advance, companies are developing ways to map, analyze, and even simulate human behavior. Every click, interaction, and preference is recorded and fed into algorithms that learn not only who you are, but predict who you might become. Over time, this creates a detailed digital twin, a model of your personality, habits, and choices that exists independently of you in cyberspace. This digital twin is no longer just a passive record of your life. It can be sold, rented, or leveraged to influence your decisions, from the products you buy to the political opinions you adopt. Your thoughts, preferences, and emotions become monetizable assets. In essence, companies are not just profiting from your labor or your attention. They are profiting from your mind itself. The line between self and commodity blurs, raising profound ethical and philosophical questions. The commodification of consciousness also has implications for power. Entities that control these digital representations wield extraordinary influence over human behavior. They can manipulate, predict, and even subtly coerce individuals on a scale never seen before. The more detailed the model, the more precise the control. Your life becomes a resource, analyzed and optimized for profit by systems you may never fully understand. Furthermore, as AI and neurotechnologies advance, it is conceivable that companies could simulate your decision-making entirely. These simulations could be used for research, marketing, or even political manipulation, all without your active participation. In the upload society, consciousness itself is up for grabs, a new frontier where identity, privacy, and autonomy are secondary to the economic value of the mind. Understanding this transformation is critical because the future of human agency depends on recognizing that our very thoughts and behaviors have become a marketable commodity. As the upload society evolves, the question of who owns your digital self is becoming increasingly urgent. Laws and regulations have struggled to keep pace with technology, leaving a gray area where your consciousness, memories, and personal data can be manipulated, sold, or replicated without your consent. Companies argue that once your mind exists in digital form, it becomes their intellectual property, while individuals insist that their identity, no matter the format, cannot be owned by anyone but themselves. This clash has sparked a wave of legal and ethical debates. Courts are being forced to confront unprecedented questions. Does a digital twin have the same rights as its human counterpart? Can a simulated version of you be exploited for profit without violating your personal freedoms? As tech giants race to create increasingly accurate simulations of human consciousness, legislators struggle to define ownership, consent, and accountability in this new realm. Ethically, the upload society challenges fundamental concepts of autonomy and selfhood. If corporations can predict your decisions or manipulate your digital persona, to what extent are you in control of your own life? Philosophers and ethicists warn that society risks creating a world where human behavior is preemptively shaped by algorithms, undermining free will and personal responsibility. Some countries are beginning to introduce laws to protect digital identities, while others allow the technology to operate with little oversight. This fragmented approach could lead to massive inequalities, where some individuals retain control over their digital selves, while others are exploited in virtual markets. Ultimately, the legal and ethical battles over digital selves are more than technical disputes. They are struggles over the very definition of personhood in a world where minds can exist outside the body. How these conflicts are resolved will determine whether humans remain the masters of their own identity or become products in the next frontier of capitalism. The upload society is not just a technological shift. It is a profound transformation of what it means to be human. As more aspects of life move into digital form, the question of autonomy becomes critical. When your thoughts, memories, and behaviors exist in the cloud, who truly controls your life? Corporations that manage these platforms may influence decisions, monetize experiences, or even simulate versions of you for profit, potentially eroding the very concept of personal freedom. Despite the promise of eternal consciousness and digital immortality, the risks are enormous. Without robust safeguards, individuals could find their digital selves manipulated, restricted, or exploited in ways they cannot even perceive. The distinction between your real self and your uploaded self could blur, raising philosophical and ethical dilemmas about identity, consent, and responsibility. Yet, the upload society also offers opportunities for empowerment. Legal frameworks, technological innovations, and public awareness could ensure that digital selves remain under personal control, preserving autonomy while benefiting from the advantages of cloud-based consciousness. Policies that define ownership, privacy, and rights in digital spaces will determine whether humanity thrives or becomes subservient to the corporations that host our minds. Ultimately, the future of human autonomy in an uploaded world depends on the choices we make today. If safeguards and ethical considerations are ignored, society risks a reality where consciousness is commodified and freedom is outsourced. But if carefully managed, the upload society could usher in a new era of human potential, where identity, memory, and self-expression are preserved, enhanced, and protected in ways previously unimaginable.